Hi, everybody. I'm Alice K. Ruckelhaus from SufferingWell. So today I'm going to talk about why we have so many videos about saints. Okay, and those appear in several different ways. We have videos about martyrs, and most of those have the red and orange cover that you'll see on YouTube. So you can easily spot which ones are about martyrs. Martyrs are people who were killed for their faith or in defending an aspect of their faith. And there are many martyrs that nobody even knows about, but we're sharing about some of the ones that people do know about. Most of them have been canonized as saints, but we'll also be sharing about just some extraordinary Christians as well. In most cases, those aren't actually martyrs, but Dietrich Bonhoeffer would be an example of a martyr who is not a canonized Catholic saint. He was actually Protestant. We also are looking at just saints in general, ones who lived extraordinary lives of dedication to God, but they weren't martyrs. Some of them, again, are canonized, some are not. So I shouldn't say saints in all those cases, but extraordinary Christians, many of whom are saints. So why are we sharing about that? What does that have to do with suffering well? Well, it's probably easier to figure out what the martyrs have to do with suffering well because they obviously suffered. But in most cases, most of the saints also suffered in some way. Suffering is a pretty common experience among humans. I suppose there might be some people who don't suffer, but most of us do. And since Jesus said to take up our cross daily, take up our cross, okay, like he died on a cross. It's not something that's a fun thing. It is suffering. It involves suffering. Since he said that, that really is part of the Christian experience and is part of how we gain fellowship with Jesus. So sharing about the saints can help us to see how they suffered well. And different saints show us different aspects of that. So we want you to see that through these stories of the saints. Another way that we hope that you'll benefit from the stories of the saints is that some of them we're sharing our experiences specifically with a particular saint. Like I've shared already about Saint Matthew the Apostle and how asking for his intercession really affected my life. And of course, you've probably also seen the video about Maria Goretti and how she really affected my life as well through asking her to be praying for me and asking for her help. So the saints are very much alive. They are not dead. We're not praying to the dead. They're alive in heaven. And so they're able to help us and they're able to pray for us to God. So having the saints praying for us it's just an amazing experience. You guys, I've only been Catholic for 2 years, okay? So I've only been praying to saints, which, hint, pray does not mean worship. It can mean worship. When you pray to God, you're worshiping God, but it has other meanings as well. I talk about that in another video. I'll try to remember to link that below. That's an important thing to know, that Catholics and Protestants sometimes use the same words, but they have different meanings. And it's not that one is better than the other. If you look in the dictionary, both those meanings are there. So, and if you have ever read or watched any Shakespeare, then you will have a clue as to what Catholics often mean when they say pray. But I talk about that in that video to a much greater extent. So, being able to get to know different saints and find ones that you can pray to for specific situations, or even ones that you just really relate to. And so you can ask them for their intercession. That's just really, really helpful. And so listening to the stories of saints can benefit you in that way. They can also inspire you. There are so many things that it's like you're going through a problem and then you hear somebody else's story, whether a saint or an extraordinary Christian, you hear their story and you realize, oh my goodness, this really helps me with this problem that I'm having. So that's another reason to listen to it, to watch those videos, our videos about the saints, other people's videos about the saints. Oh, I have a friend in Malta who does stories about John Bosco. It is like listening to your grandfather telling stories. It is so wonderful. I'll link him below. Joe Zammit, he's just wonderful. So you have to hear. I do not know how many videos he has about John Bosco, but I am absolutely in love with John Bosco because of Joe Zammit's videos. So shout out to Joe there. So listening to to the stories about the saints can really, really inspire you in your own life and just help you want to be more godly. Another reason that you might want to listen to the videos is because maybe you're becoming Catholic, so you need to find a confirmation saint for yourself, or maybe you're being raised Catholic, you're a child, and you are trying to figure out who you want for your patron saint, your confirmation saint. So listening to the stories can really help. So another reason why you might want to listen to the stories of the saints on a regular basis, whether it's on our channel or somebody else's, it doesn't matter. Just listen to the stories of the saints, is because we should all want to be saints. Of course we are. If we're Christians, we are saints with a little s. Okay, but big S, canonized saints, we should all want to be that. It's something that sometimes people think, oh, but they're special, they were so holy. Listening to the stories of the saints will help you to see that they are just as human as you are. And it's just a matter of being very dedicated to God, devout in your practice, and wanting to genuinely serve him. So for example, Therese of Lisieux, who is one of the two most favorite saints of Catholics. I'm not really sure how they came up with that, but that's what I've heard. I don't know if like everybody voted or something, popularity contest for the saints. But anyway, she threw a temper tantrum in front of the Pope and held onto his feet or his hands, there's different stories, until the Swiss guard had to carry her out. Okay, so we're not talking about people who are like super perfect and they've always been holy and they've never had any struggles. We're talking about normal people. All right. And so it's just really helpful to listen to the stories of the saints and realize we can be like them. We really can. And that's encouraging and inspiring. And it just goads us on to be zealous about our relationship with God. So I hope that will help you to understand why we're posting stories of the saints, but mainly I hope that it will inspire you to want to listen to the stories of the saints. All right, go check out some of those. Be sure to check out Joe Zamet's videos about John Bosco. They are really awesome. I love you all. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.